Hi, my name is Wayne Horodowich, the founder of the University of Sea Kayaking. A year ago, on October 10th, 2012, the sea kayaking world lost a legend, and I lost my dear friend and my mentor, Derek C Hutchinson. Derek wrote the first book on sea kayaking, and he has probably been the most influential person in the development of this sport. On this one-year anniversary, I thought it would be appropriate to share one of Derek's many humorous stories of him telling the perfect length of a sea kayak. In addition, I've included a little bit of living history, which is Derek telling of the building of his first sea kayak. Enjoy the video.
Well, here we are at the garage at 18 Marina Drive. Mr. Hutchinson, please put down that hammer. Put down that hammer. Whew. Okay. Now, this is the infamous garage I've heard about.
Yes, oh yes.
This is it.
This is where it all happens.
Right, and this is where you built the North Sea kayak?
Yes, it is. Yes.
In here.
Yes, I built it in here, diagonally across.
Right. Now, with that, before you tell me about the building of it, I want you to relate a story to me about boat design and the perfect length of a kayak.
Oh yes, I some years ago, 30 years ago, I was giving a talk on kayak design, and I was talking about the width, about the cross section, whether it should be fish form, whether it should be Swede form, the advantages of both, laminar flow, all that stuff. And then I said, and of course the ideal length, as far as I'm concerned, is 16 feet 10. I said 16 feet 10, as far as I'm concerned, is the only length for a sea kayak. And in the audience there were some murmurings, and Frank Goodman, who was lovely kayak designer, he said, well, I would dispute that. My kayak is such and such and such a length, you see. I said, as far as I'm concerned, the ideal length is 16 feet 10. Well, I don't know how you're getting annoyed. Went a bit white-faced. I had a lot of respect for Frank. He said, well, I object. I don't see how you can just stand up there and just say 16 feet 10 is the ideal length. I see no support for that at all. He said, how on earth can you stand there and just say that, 16 feet 10? I said, because me garage is 17 feet. I said, it's got to be 16 feet 10, otherwise I can't get it in. And he was, and that was the end of it. I think he left. I think he walked out. I think he left. He was in a state of disenchantment,
right.
Shall we say. He left, yeah.
So if you think about it, if you had a 30-foot garage, how big your kayak would have been?
Oh, Lord knows. But as you can see by this one,
right.
It's 16 feet 10.
Right, and it's diagonally.
It's touching the door at that side.
Right.
It's diagonally, and when you close that door, it'll touch at that end.
It'll touch at this end.
Touch at that end.
And so you built the plug in here.
Yes.
Right, and you did all this in this little space.
Yes, that's right. And I didn't have I couldn't afford, I was school teaching at the time, I couldn't afford the glass, the resin, you see.
Right.
So I went to a local resin place, you see, and I said, have you got any cheap resin? He says, well, I can let you have a small tin of brown, there's a tin of white here, I can let you have a tin of red, and I've got some 2 shades of yellow, you see. So I had all these tins of different coloured resins, but I needed one big lot of resin to do the plug and the mould, you see. So
don't tell me you dumped it all together.
Yes, I poured it all together.
Right.
And I got a colour which is rather like cat vomit, and there's still a dollop outside the back door
on the floor.
On the floor, where I dripped it. It's been there for 40 years. 40 years? It must be 40 years it's been there, and it's the colour that the boat was, the North Sea kayak was, and it was so bilious, so sickly, that I painted the whole thing with flat white paint, and then I painted gloss on the hull, and I painted orange on the deck, and I painted a big Eskimo on the foredeck. And somewhere in England there's the boat with the big Eskimo, and I didn't know how to join it up. So what I did, I had, where the end was, there was a hole here
Right.
and a hole at the other end.
Right.
So we got the boat on its side, and then we got a wire stretched through right from one end to the other,
Right.
and then I put wetted out resin on the wire, and we feed it through like this, somebody pulling on the other end, feeding it through till we got to the place, and then with a stick with a brush on the end, dabbed the wetted glass in place, bring it back through again, same again. And of course, we did it both sides, and that's how the hull was joined. But we were left with two ends,
With holes in
with
it.
a hole in about that big, you see.
Right.
So I got a tennis ball, cut a diamond out, filled it full of resin and glass, and then just squelch on the end, and that was the end. So
And then when the resin hardened,
you took the ball off, and you had a
big
glass
ball.
fiber ball.
sort of like the nose on a clown.
That's right. Actually, I've seen rowing sculls with that sort of ball on the end. I don't know why they've got it on rowing sculls, but anyhow.
Maybe so you don't impale
Yeah,
somebody.
so that was it. And that was the North Sea kayak.
And it was all in this
Yeah.
little space.
Yeah, and the Bedaka, which I did the North Sea crossing in, was a North Sea kayak with the back end cut up right, because somebody said, well, you want to design it so people can fit a rudder. I said, I don't like rudders. Nah, but you've got to design it so if anybody wants to fit a rudder, they can. So I designed it with a sort of a sloping back.
Right.
Nobody ever put a rudder on, and it spoiled the look of the boat, but that was the boat that I did the North Sea crossing in.
Right.
And it worked a charm.
Right.
Obviously, it's history.
And that first boat that you did make was called the North Sea.
Called the North Sea kayak.
Right.
That was it.
And this is where it happened.
This is where it happened, in this
Right.
garage.